you have a mouse, so we'll take what we can get. So with that, we have this tiny house, and we can look at it two different ways. So one way of looking at it is that this, the Namo house, it already exists somewhere, and somebody wants us to remodel it, so we're going to go and measure it and then do the existing plans, right? So that's scenario A, it already exists. Scenario B is that somebody has hired us to create this amazing tiny house for their kids, because people do that here in the state of Utah. They hire designers to do these things. So we're going to start it from the ground up. So A is a remodel and B is from the ground up. And I think as interior designers, you guys are most likely going to be starting with something that already exists. Now, it could already exist physically somewhere where you go and measure, or maybe another architect is handing you the plans and saying, hey, come on to our project team, but here's the plan set. But do you guys kind of see that we're in the process of making the plan set? There's not this thing that's done for you, okay? So with that, either case scenario, we just need to recognize that we have this little house right here that we're about to build, and we can sketch it out, we can draw it, and what we're going to start with today is it's really going to be tiny. It's going to be 15 feet by 15 feet. So those are our overall dimensions. Now whenever we start a Revit project or a BIM project, BIM. How many of you guys saw BMI over the weekend? Yeah, that was embarrassing. So a couple people emailed me, and I'm like, oh, Happy New Year, setting health goals, BMI, BIM. So you guys, I think everybody up until like 8 o'clock last night, if you turned it in, I gave you a little note. So if you put no answer, you got it right. If you put building, modeling information, BMI, you still got it right. So Happy New Year, I hope you get those goals. Okay. So we've got 15 by 15, and when we start a BIM project, there are always a few things that I need you to think about first. Okay, this is from the get-go, but just know that these things can change later, but they're things you need to consider. Let me change that word. You know how I just said things you need to know? In your questions this week, it says consider. So those should be in italics. So you see how consider is different than know? Anything in Revit can change at any point, and it's really intuitive and user-friendly that way. So I just threw up a whole bunch of lines here. What do those lines represent? They represent walls. So are lines typically walls? Are lines just these 2D things? No. What are walls? What are walls? Tell me the physical characteristics of a wall. 2x4s. Yep, so what's the construction? Okay, good. So some of the things just to consider before you get started. So the construction. And you know what one of those answers can be? It can be a 2x4, it can be a 2x6, it could be brick, it could be CMU. And the best part about Revit, you could also not know. There's something called a generic wall type that you can put in and use that as well, okay? So just consider the construction of the wall. Tell me more about the physical attributes of a wall. We talked about it last week just in terms of this room. Yes, it's built as a 2x6, but remember, don't think in plan. We're going to move out of plan. We're standing in a room and we're building it. Tell me more about the walls. Yeah, good. It has height, it has elevation. Perfect. So I'm going to call that levels. Okay, so the construction and the levels. Why is that important? So let's not think about the tree house, because the tree house, I mean, it could be fancy and it could be multi-level. But with this building, let's talk about this wall again. Where does this wall start and end? Yep, floor to ceiling, right? So this is just a partition wall. What about that wall? Where does it start and end? Yep, it goes all the way down, all the way up. In drafting, we have to know this and draw all of those walls over and over again. Do we have to do that in BIM modeling? No, we don't. So in BIM modeling, we tell Revit, this wall starts at this level and ends at this level, and you might have 4 levels in between. And you can also come in the middle of it, like a partition wall, and say this wall starts here and ends here. So let's just start with those 2 things. Let's consider the construction, and let's consider the levels, all right? So if we bring it back to our little Namo house here, tell me about the construction. Do we know it? I haven't said anything, right? So we can start generic, and then we can add something else later, right? And then what about levels? What levels do we have here? We pretty much just have the ground. So I'm going to do our little elevation line. So let's put ground. Now I'm going to draw this a little bit bigger so everybody can see it. And you guys will see my master's degree at work here, all right? No. Okay. Okay, so we've got our ground plane. This is going to be approximately 15 feet, okay? And then the other thing that I want, let's start out with a 10-foot ceiling. Do you see how that's different than like the top of the roof? Right, we're just gonna do a 10-foot ceiling in here. Actually, I cheated. Let me take this off. Okay, we'll get to that a little bit later. So just to begin, what we're gonna do, we're gonna open up a new Revit project, and we haven't done that before. We've opened an existing Revit project, and I'm gonna show you guys the two options you have for templates in this class. And really, we could start with either one of them. So let's go to open. And I'm not projecting yet, am I? Let's test something. Wait, am I projecting? Tara, is that me or you?
That's me.
That's you, okay. Let me go to, okay. Do you guys, okay. Well, we're just gonna keep going because we need to keep going. So let me stop this. Do you guys have your screens back? Okay, we're gonna do similar to what we did last week, except Olivia, I can kind of see your screen a little bit, and then Tara, I can see your screen. So we're gonna go extra slow today, and if at any point you're wondering if you are looking at the right thing, and actually, Fabi, will you do me a favor? Will you pull your Revit onto your left screen?
Yeah.
Thank you. So people on this side, look at Olivia and Tara, and then Lindy and Carol. Soren, you might be able to see that far. Look at Fabi if you can, okay? Yell at me. Remember BMI? BIM? We're going to be running around the room today. So, okay, so to begin, let's go to open, left-hand side. And then right off the bat, we might be at different places depending on our network location. So when I open, I go to, oh sorry, let's go to new. Or do you guys not have your mice? Are you guys okay? Good? Okay, so let's go to new. Yeah, sorry. And by default, what is the first thing you see? Construction template. So that's not what we use. By default, there are two options that we like to use in this class, and they are residential and architectural. So take a look at that list. Pull down on that menu and tell me what's on there and what might be missing.
There's construction, architectural, structural, mechanical.
Okay. So is residential on there? No. Okay, you said not res. I was so excited. I'm like, what? 2020? Okay, good. So answer my question again. Which one is on the list and which one isn't? So which one is on there?
Architectural.
Good. Which one isn't?
Residential.
So it's really common for us in this class to do residential projects. And what a template does is it has things built into the file. So for example, if we opened up an architectural file, let's open up architectural and then hit OK. So a couple things that I want you guys to notice. Olivia, did you get yours? I lied. I said open.
Oh, but
and then I was like, just kidding. There you go.
Okay.
See, you didn't even need my help. Couple things I want you guys to notice just in this template. So look at your levels under floor plans. How many levels do you have and what are they called? Good, do you guys see that? So I can't dance because you guys can't see my screen without me stealing your mice. But do you guys see floor plans level 1, level 2? Okay. Now outside of that, I want you guys to, this is our first shortcut, hit WA for me for wall. And then I'm leading you blind here, but do you guys remember our properties tab from last week? Lindy, put your pen down right now, young lady. Remember, no notes today. Stay with me. Take your notes after class. Stay with me. I love you. We'll see how it goes this week, and then next week, if it was too hard, come right back to it. Okay, so properties bar. What does it say in the properties bar? Basic. Yep, basic wall. Do you guys see that? Pull down that menu for me, and let's see, just read me the exterior types quickly. Yep, so exterior brick and CMU, another exterior brick on CMU, another brick on metal stud, EFIS, foundation. Are you guys seeing those? Yes? Okay, nods help, especially if you guys don't have screens. Thank you. Carmen, you're good? Okay, awesome. Now hit escape for me. So the architectural template has commercial walls, and it only has 2 generic levels, level 1 and level 2. Do me a favor, right next to your properties bar it says level 1 with an X. Let's close out of this project, please. We don't want to save the changes, so just go ahead and hit no. We're exiting out of level 1. So not Revit, but in right next to your properties bar there should be that white tab that says level 1. Yeah, you got it. And then if you do that, you should be back to the menu where we were when we first opened the program. Yes? Good. Nods are good. Thank you. Now if we want to open up the architectural template, even though we did, sorry, if we want to go back to the architectural template, do we go to open or new? Oh, I didn't trick you guys. Well done. So let's go to new. And then this time, we're going to go to browse. And then hopefully, if the universe at least loves me a little bit today, do you guys see US Imperial and then commercial, construction, default, electrical?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
No?
I don't see the US one. It's up at the top.
Oh, US Imperial is the folder. You got it? Yes, the universe likes me a little bit today. Awesome. So from here, click on residential and then open. And then do you see how template file would be under new project? Okay. If you have questions, Olivia's screen looks great, Tara's screen looks great, Bobby's looks great, and I'm gonna hit OK. Mine looks great too, but you guys can't see it. Okay, so this is our residential template. Without me telling you what's different about this, so take like 30 seconds, just poke around, notice stuff, let your neighbors notice. It'll be less than 30 seconds, it'll be a NYMA 30 seconds, which is more like 10. What do you guys notice?
The project browser.
Okay, what's different about it? It's still a project browser and there's still levels in it. What's different about the levels? There's a lot more levels built into it. So it basically builds, it premeditates what you will need for a residential project. So we've got first floor. What was the first floor called in architectural? Level 1. Yep, so we've got first floor, second floor, roof framing, foundation. We've got all sorts of stuff. Do you guys remember the shortcut to check the other thing? Yeah, good. So look at the walls, and I mean, we've been using Revit for a total of 13 minutes and 40 seconds. Welcome everybody, you're doing a great job. Do you notice any differences?
The wall is now 6 inches default.
Yeah.
Before it was an 8 inch.
Yeah, so even just the basic wall type, the generic 6-inch, it starts off a little bit differently. Do we see CMU? It was primarily CMU on the architectural side because it's a construction project. Sorry, they're all construction projects. It's a commercial project. So this template has different walls built that apply to residential projects. And we didn't get to this part, this is the fun part, but it has different furniture built in too. So different toilets, because commercial toilets are different than residential toilets. This one will have like beds and refrigerators. Where the commercial template, it's really sparse as far as what it actually has, okay? So throughout this semester, there's 2 templates that you guys are going to use. What are they?
Architectural and residential.
Yep, so those are the 2 templates that we will use. Primarily, it will be residential, and we might do like 1 or 2 projects maybe in the architectural side, okay? But these are the templates that we're going to use. Now, if you just open up Revit and you go to New, is residential going to be there for you? No. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Close out the first floor for me again. Do you want to save the project? No. Okay. I want you guys to open up a new residential project for me. Okay. Where were we? Okay, were you guys able to open up a residential template? Okay, it will be the same thing at home. So I did open again. So we're gonna go to Browse, Residential, and then Open. Good. So here we are in our project. Before we even start drawing our beautiful little tree house, I want you guys to see if you can set up your views, right? So let's kind of do this together. Remember, we don't just want to work and plan. So just shout out some other views that we can be looking at today. 3D, I love it, good. So come down to your project browser, double click on 3D, okay? And then, okay, I'm gonna pick, oh wait, did you have one, Carol?
Well, only from watching.
Good.
North elevation.
Yeah, let's do our north elevation, awesome. Okay, so come further down your project browser, double click on north. Okay. Now, where can you guys look on your screen right now to verify what views are open? Yep, just right along the top. So ours could be in a different order, which is just fine. Yeah, Fabi?
What would that be called? Like, what would do we just call it just right on top?
No. They're the tabs. Yeah, they're your view tabs. But I know that there's another name for them. I typically just refer to them as your tabs. Yep. Let's see. Does everybody have 3 views? Yes? Great. Do you guys remember the shortcut so we can see all of them at once? Good. Window tile. Awesome. WT. And I want your first floor on the right side, and then the other 2, I don't really care. Just as long as you see both of them. And make sure to use your zooming and panning from last week to kind of get those centered. So rollerball up and down, press your scroll wheel to get everything centered. Okay? Hopefully you feel comfortable with that. And in fact, another thing that I want to do, if you come in between these 2 views, between north and first floor, you'll see a double-headed arrow pop up. So your mouse will turn from a pointer to a double-headed arrow. Click and drag that over to the left to make your first floor a little bit bigger. Good? Okay, awesome. What I'd like you guys to do now is, without kind of any direction from me, click into your first floor, hit WA, and just start randomly drawing walls. Okay, it doesn't matter what they look like or where they go, but see what happens in your north elevation, see what happens in 3D. Basically just sketch some walls, just so you can see how Revit does it, and then we'll talk about it in just a moment. All right, hooray, here we go. Now you guys can at least see what I'm doing. I'm sorry it's not the ideal conditions, but we have a screen that we're projecting that you can watch later on this afternoon. So again, straight out of the box, I'm gonna hit WA, and I'm just gonna start throwing stuff down without even thinking about what I'm doing, okay? So, woohoo, I'm Frank Gehry. Look, Mom, all right? So let me slow it down a little bit, and let's talk about what Revit is doing when it puts in a wall. So first in the floor plan, let's look at where it's drawing. That's one of the first things to think about. So where we're drawing is actually known as the location line. So by default, if you guys take a look at my cursor, where is it drawing it? Do you see how it's in the center? There's that line going through the center. So I'm sorry that you guys don't have a projector, my things are going out, but with the construction, this refers to your walls. So as we start drawing walls, we need to think of the location line. And let me just say, to kind of hurry things along, we rarely ever draw walls in the center, especially when we're doing exterior walls. Typically, we do what's called finish face interior or finish face exterior. So let's think about this little house right here. I'm going to say that the 15 by 15 is the interior dimension. So our client said we want it to be exactly 15 feet by 15 feet. So if we did 15 feet in the center of the wall, do you see that by the time we turn our walls, it's actually going to be a little bit smaller? You see that? So that's why our finish face is really important. Now, there are also going to be times where maybe you go to a structure that you can't get on the inside, but you have to go measure it from the exterior. In that case, you would use the exterior finish face, or maybe you're designing it from the outside. But typically, it's always going to be a finish face, and it's either going to be interior or exterior. So I'm going to hit escape, and actually, would you guys be so heartbroken if we got rid of your masterpieces? Okay, let me show you a really easy way to get rid of everything, and this is one of your questions this week. So this is like our class cheer. So our cheer is hover, tab, click. Let me show you what I mean by hover, and listen to my mouse, because I think you guys can hear my mouse, right? Okay, hover just means you put your mouse over something. You don't click, you just hover. You're kind of creepy, like, hey, I'm gonna come stand right by you. When I hit tab, all the walls that I drew in that segment are now selected, or I'm sorry, they're highlighted, and then when I click, then they are selected. So take a look at my screen one more time and see the graphic difference. Hover, highlight, tab, more highlighted, click, selected. Okay, let's do that together. So take your mouse, hover, hit tab, and then click. And then once you have all of them, hit delete. And one thing you might find, if you drew your walls in like 3 or 4 different segments, you're going to have to keep hovering and tabbing and clicking. Carol?
Or if we're still in WA because we haven't
Oh,
done escape.
yes, you have to do escape twice to get out of there. Sorry, good one. Okay, so if you're still drawing walls, yep, hit escape twice to get out of there. And then again, hover, tab, and then click, and then delete to get rid of those. So hopefully we are all starting with a clean slate now. Okay. Good. Now, before we get too far, please make sure you have your 3 views available, especially your 3D view. So let's say that at some point you accidentally closed one and your screen looks like this. You can come back and turn on 3D view, and then just hit WT again and go through and tile them one more time. Okay, just want to make sure everybody has the same views. And now what we're going to do is start drawing the wall, but we're going to draw a lot slower this time. So WA, and let's take a look at this new menu that popped up along our menu bar. And we're going to talk about several of these things and what we need to set them to. So right now, when we were drawing our walls, even though we didn't really talk about it or see, can you guys see on your screen how big they or how tall they're going to be?
20 feet.
Yep, 20 feet and then unconnected. Do you guys see that? So I'm in WA. So if you don't see this menu, type in WA so that pops up. Location line, wall center line. What should this be again?
Interior or
Yep. Good. So finish face exterior or interior. So go ahead and pull down on that. And remember, for today, we're going to do finish face interior. I almost always work from the inside and then out, just because I don't necessarily detail my exterior walls until after I get most of the design done, so I'm almost always finish face interior. Okay, so finish face interior. And what we typically need to do, for time's sake, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, but we really don't want our levels to be unconnected, but we want them to actually go up to a certain level, right? So in this case, let's actually take our walls all the way up to the roof, and we can edit some of our levels. So instead of it being unconnected, we're going to take it up to the roof. Okay, and let me write that up here. So walls, location line, levels. So location line, I'm going to put finish face. And then levels we're going to set here in just a minute. So these are the things that we are considering before we're even getting started. Everybody with me so far? Yep. So here's what we're going to do. Let's come here and let's draw our 15 feet. So look at my screen for just a minute. If you haven't drawn in any kind of CAD before, this might take you a sec. But you click and then you drag and it tells you how far you're going. But instead of trying to figure out where 15 feet is, just type in 15, enter. Revit thinks in feet. So 15 is feet, okay? And then I'm going to pull my mouse down, 15, enter. And then when I come over, here's the thing that's nice. It always does this thing called tracking. And do you see how it found the end of my other wall? As soon as those two dashed blue lines track and highlight, I can click and then come up here and click too. Okay. And when you're done, hit escape twice. Yep. So just take it to the end and then escape twice. And now I'm going to go to my elevation view. I have a tiny screen today. And do you see that I've got my first floor and my roof is all the way up at 18 feet? Do you guys see that? So you can zoom in on yours too. Let's do some cleaning up. So should my roof start at 18 feet? In my drawing here, where does my roof actually start? It starts at the ceiling line. 10 feet, okay? So let's take our roof. And actually, I'm going to skip my windows around. Because I have such limited screen space, I'm actually going to keep your first floor, but I'm going to do this just so you can see it a little bit better. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, nope, I'm going to leave them there. We're good. Okay, so from here, first, what I'd like to do is show you guys another amazing thing about BIM modeling. So in your project browser, because my screen is so small, I have to scroll down to see the second floor. So just make sure your second floor is in view on your project browser. You don't have to click on it or anything, but just make sure you can see it. And then over here, where it says second floor, I'm going to hit delete, and I want you guys to hit delete too. And you're going to get a whole bunch of warnings, right? Along with the selection, 8 elements and 4 views will be deleted. Second floor, second floor. Let's go ahead and hit OK. And do you see how now that view is totally gone? Yeah? So that's the other thing about BIM modeling. When you see an elevation marker that indicates a level, that level is tied to a floor plan. So if you delete the elevation marker, the plan is gone. And if you delete the plan, the elevation marker is gone. So again, it's kind of doing all of the annotative drafting for you so you don't have to think about it. Okay, so now our second floor is gone because we don't have a second floor. We just have our first floor, and then we essentially have where the roof and the ceiling is. Here's another great thing about BIM modeling. So if we did this correctly, what do you think should happen if I change my roof height to 10 feet? Everything should come down because they're no longer unconnected. So on your roof, what you need to do is take your mouse and kind of hover over, and do you see how there's 2 rectangles that are highlighted on my screen? Come down to the one that's closest to the 18 feet, click in it, and then click in it one more time. So sorry, you want to click on it to activate it, and then click on it one more time to actually edit it. So now we're going to type in 10, enter for 10 feet. And looking at my 3D model and my elevation, those walls came down. Okay, Now, if your walls didn't come down, it might be that when you drew your walls, you still have them as unconnected. All right, let me show you what that scenario looks like and how you can fix it. So I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to select all of my walls, see how they're all highlighted? And over here in the properties, do you see how I have my top up to level roof? Okay, I'm going to change that to unconnected. So now that this is unconnected, I'm going to change this to the 10 feet again. And do you see how the level changed, but my wall didn't? What I'm trying to really show you guys here is whenever you draw walls, you need to connect them to a level, because you don't want to move a ceiling height for whatever reason and then have to go through and manually change all your walls. Now, I can't tell you how many projects I've started and I've just forgotten to assign a level. I'm kind of going to go backwards of what I just did. So now that I've done this, I realize, oh, whoops, I didn't do that correctly. So even in an elevation view, I can hover, tab, and click. Even though I only see one wall, Revit still knows what I mean by the hover, tab, click. These are all selected. Do you guys remember where I went to fix my walls? Properties, good. Properties, top constraint. This says unconnected, which is kind of the generic out of the box. Should it ever be unconnected? Not necessarily. The only time I really do an unconnected wall is if I'm doing like a pony wall in a kitchen. Like I'll do unconnected 6 feet high, or like any sort of like a partition demising wall. And I'm going to go ahead and connect this up to the roof. And do you see how it automatically fixed it? It's like, oh, I go to the roof, I'm going to go back in line. Okay, so just based off of this, I hope you guys love BIM modeling already. Okay, so we've got our 15 by 15 house. We've got a roof at 10, our wall set up to 10 feet. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a door and a window. And then we're going to set up some other views. So let me open up my floor plan. And looking up at your architecture menu, mine's going to look a little bit different because I'm on such a smaller screen. Where do you guys think you would go to insert a door?
Hover towards a wall.
We want to go towards the door menu. Yes, we will put it in a wall in just a sec. But if you click on door, and the shortcut is DR, I'm going to click on door, and then if you look at my floor plan, do you see how it's basically like no, no, no? You have to put a wall, or sorry, you have to put a door in a wall. Because just like this building, you wouldn't walk into this room and have a door in the middle of it, right? BIM modeling understands what elements can host other elements. So it knows that windows and doors go into walls. That's why it's saying, nope, you can't put it here. What door did you guys get when you hit DR or door? Did you get the sliding closet door? Okay. Where do you think you could go look at other door types? Good, the drop down, yep. So we've also got a single raised panel with side lights. We've got a single flush and a double glass. So all of these are pretty fancy for a little tiny house. Let's start with the single flush. And let's make it the smallest one possible. I know it's not like, okay, fine, someone's gonna get mad, it's not a standard exterior door. 36 by 80, okay? So single flush, 36 by 80. And then after that, we can bring it in here, and you can kind of see that Revit does help you at least center it. We're going to talk more about specific placement on Thursday. I don't think we'll get to it today. But see if you can center it. And then after you've placed it, Revit is just going to let you put in as many doors until your heart is content. Or similar to your walls, you hit escape twice to get out of that command. Okay. Everybody got a door okay? Awesome. 35 minutes in, we've got walls and we've got a door. Woohoo! Now when we have our door, we can click on it and then hit space bar, and you see how it changes like the hinge and the swing and all of that fun stuff? You can also use these arrows right here to change the hinge and the swing. So between these arrows and spacebar, you can change the hinge and the swing. So far, so good? Now, let's hang out here for just a minute. Okay, so I was saying basic door. We're just going to put this one in. The owners are like, we're building our children this amazing tree house. There's no way we can have a standard door. Can you guys see if you can change this door for me? Just, I know I'm not showing you. I'll show you in about 15 seconds. Just try to change it for me. Without putting in a new one, see if you can change this one. Okay, now I'm going to swoop in and help you. So if you select the door, do you see over on the Properties menu, it shows us what we have? Okay, you can also go to the Properties menu and say, just kidding, I wanted this one. And see how it changed it to the door with side lights? So again, you can click on an element, come to the Properties, and change what it is. I can even do the double glass door. So that's how you can go through and quickly change the elements. In about, I can't even remember, I changed the schedule of this class. Eventually in this class, I'm going to show you guys how you can load more door types, more window types, and then eventually even how to go online and download even more windows, doors, furniture. Basically, you can do everything custom if you want. Okay, so there's our door. You can put in whatever door you'd like. Now, the next thing that I want you guys to do, let me look at my time. I have you guys until 11:50, right? The beginning of class ate into a lot of stuff. I saw a question. Let me.
I double clicked on mine and now it's just.
Oh, that's
a
okay.
picture of a door.
Yes, so if you ever double click, this is called the Family Editor. Go ahead and just close out of it by either load into project and close or this X, but don't save the changes. So does yours say view 1 right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, just go ahead and X out and then don't save the changes.
Okay.
Okay. And that's normal. I do that all the time on accident. And it's not just doors, but like room labels, dimensions, it'll happen. Just X out. You're okay. All right, you're welcome. So what we're gonna do next is I'm gonna have you guys put in a window, and I will slow down a little bit and we will talk about how to specifically place things. So let's go to the architecture menu and go to window. And let's go ahead, I'm trying to decide. Let's do just this 36 by 48. That's fine. We'll just go with the generic one that it has ready for us. And what we're going to do is we're just going to throw them in. Okay, we're going to throw them into about where we think they're going to go. So one here, one here, one here, one here, and then we're going to center this one, and let's do 3 on this side. Okay, so I'm going to hit escape. Go ahead and just throw them in like that. So again, really different than what you're probably used to, right? You usually, especially if you're drafting in either form, you're usually really meticulous. Like I have to put it in here, I have to put it in here, and then I have to put it in there. Revit isn't really like that. It's very much like we're just going to sketch it out, and then we're going to come back and clean it up. Okay. So this is what our little Namo house looks like right now. I have to cheat because I don't know which way these windows are supposed to face, to be completely honest. So let me cheat and find that out. Okay. All right, so these windows, let me start with this. All of your windows should look like this. So if you have one that looks like this, click on it and hit spacebar, or use these little arrows, either one. But just make sure that they all look like this. That means they're facing the right way. You guys good so far? Yeah? Great. So what we're going to do now, let's start on this window right here. And what I want to show you guys, actually, if yours isn't centered, let's cheat and off-center a little bit. So we can actually learn something today. So what I did, I clicked on it, and when you click on it, you'll get this 4-sided move cursor, and you can just kind of slide it out of the way. It doesn't matter where it goes, but just go ahead and slide it. And when I click on it, do you guys notice that these quick dimensions come up? That's what those are called. So Revit just puts up what's called a quick dimension. Half of the time they are no good, but the half that works, we're like, yes, we have a dimension, we're working with us. Do you guys also see this equal sign? So, oh wait, no, that's not what you want. Okay, well, so this is one of those instances where I'm like, yay, it's gonna help, but it's not. So this part right here, make this temporary dimension permanent. If we click on it, do you see how it actually puts the dimensions on the plan for us now? Go ahead and do that. So click on your window, make them permanent.
Why are my dimensions on the inside, not the outside?
Again, it's a total crapshoot because they're quick dimensions, depending on maybe how you drew it, but these are just the computer quickly generating them. But really, it doesn't matter if they're on the inside or the outside. As long as we get quick dimensions, we're okay. So for this example, I'm going to see if Revit can help us, but if not, we're going to put down our own dimensions and kind of do it ourselves. Because, as I said, about half the time, they don't really help us, especially in these examples where mine might be different than you, and when we're first starting, that's a little intimidating. But what I want to do now, after you've got your dimensions, click on your window. Does anybody see an EQ sign? Probably not. Okay, hold on. Let me run through and see if I can cheat and make my own. Okay, there we go. Well, so this is another example. Okay, in this case, Revit's dimensions didn't help us except for the fact that it told us where the windows are, right? I don't like to do the math on where the center of this wall is. I want it to be pretty automated and quick. So what we're gonna do, let's actually, wait, do you guys see an EQ sign now? What is going on? So, sorry, click on the actual dimension string. Do you guys see an EQ and it's crossed out? Okay, click on it now, and it should equal everything. Did that work? Okay, so that was my fault. I'm a little frazzled this morning. Let's pause. Let's share feelings. Nope, I can't pause. We're just going to keep going. So I had my 10-year review this morning, which is a pretty big deal. So when you're getting your review and computers aren't working, and you've been texting a person all weekend and you walk in and you're just like, we know class isn't going to go the way that we want. But it's working out. It's fine. I'm a little frazzled. But this is an example of how you can use Revit to kind of help you do your... I'm sorry, I lost my mouse. How did I do that? What was that? Yes, but there we go. There you go. Just taking a breath. Okay. So this is easy because we're just saying, okay, we want it right here. Now for this next group, I'm going to show you guys how to put in a dimension string, right? And then we're going to actually be putting in the dimensions. So for this next part, please just watch me because this will be unlike how you've ever done it before. And it takes a few times to get used to. So I'm going to do it twice on my own, and then we're going to do it at least twice together. So the shortcut to insert a dimension is DI in Revit. Now looking up here, do you see something that looks familiar that we had to change when we drew our walls? So right now what Revit's going to do, see how it's going to the center of my walls, right? I actually want it to go to my wall faces. So when we dimension in this class, we want to dimension to the wall faces. You could go to another office or another firm one day, and you might always do center, you could do core. We'll get into that when we do our official dimensioning lecture. But for today, we're just using dimensions to place objects. So I want wall faces. So I might still see the center line, but that's okay. But now the wall faces actually highlight where it didn't before. So I'm going to highlight my wall, center of the window, and then face of my wall. Okay? The other thing that I could do, I'm going to hit escape because there are several ways of doing this. I could also do dimension from here to this side of my wall. Okay? I could do that as well. So 10 inches here, and then DI 11 inches. That's okay. I just eyeballed it pretty good. I was only an inch off. Okay, so those are the dimensions I want. I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to delete all of these. Tell me what the shortcut was. DI. What do I want to change up here? Wall faces. Wall faces is on. Once you change it once, it should be good to go. But remember, when you guys go home, it'll probably still be center line. So I'm going to go to the edge. So here what I'm doing, I click on the wall, I click on the edge of my window, and then basically I have my dimension, and if I'm done, I click in the middle of nowhere, and that's where it's placed. In my next example, I'm going to start on the wall, center of my window, and see how I always like to pull it out to kind of see a preview of where it is? Basically, I can keep clicking on different objects and walls, and it'll keep dimensioning for me. And then as soon as you click out onto nothing, that's when it places it for you. Okay, so let's try that together now. Let me Control Z. Control Z one more time. All right. So let's start just by doing this corner. And everybody's dimension is going to be different. You could have like 3 inches, you could have 1/4 inch, you could have 3 feet. I don't care because we eyeballed it. So I'm just going to zoom in here. What is our shortcut? Good. DI, and we're going to start from here, and we're going to come to here. Oh, don't forget your wall faces, sorry. So DI, and then maybe escape. So DI, wall faces, this wall face to this part of the window, and then remember, just pull out and click kind of on nothing, and that should place it for you. Now, since we're still dimensioning, you don't need to hit escape, but you can come down here and do that same thing. So 2 clicks, one on the face, one in between the window and the wall, and then your last click to place it. Okay. And I'm still dimensioning, so I'm still not going to hit escape. For this next one, I'll just start down here and go center, center of my window, and then face of wall. Yeah, Taylor?
So, I hit escape a million times, but it says place window. Like, it doesn't come up where I can...
It says place
like,
window?
dimension.
So hit escape one more time for me. I know it sounds crazy. What does it say in your properties menu?
Floor plan?
Okay, so that's right. So now just type in DI and see if it pops up. Does it turn to this menu when you do DI? So see here where it's green and it says wall faces. Do you have that yet?
Yeah, no.
Okay, now you should be good. I'm going to do that one more time in case I lost you somewhere. I'm not going to do the call out like, does anybody need me to do it one more time? I'm just going to do it. DI. So check wall faces. This time I'm going to start from the bottom, come up to this edge, place it. This time this face, this edge. One more click in the middle of nowhere. And then since I'm still dimensioning, I still don't need to hit escape. Here. Okay, and now that I'm done, I'm going to hit escape twice. Are you guys getting a save the project reminder? Okay, I'm getting a save the project reminder. So I'm going to go ahead and save. And when I save, I think I'd like you guys to see if you have your network drive. So remember that is on this PC. See if your network location popped up. I accidentally erased Jameson's email, but we can check that again if you don't have it. I'm pretty sure that last time I came, I made a folder on my desktop. So here's Revit. And then today's what I'm calling officially class 1. So I'm making a folder called 01, and I'm just going to call this Namo exercise. Typically, I pause the lecture to give you guys time to save so there's less downtime. I'm not going to touch the lecture. I'm just going to let it keep going so nothing happens to it. And then after you guys have saved, we will talk about how to move these windows. And hopefully you guys are still in your 3 views. If you need to like zoom in to really see what you're doing on them, go ahead and take this time to zoom in as well. I'm just going to keep the 2 for now, only because my screen is so small since I'm using a different projector today. So I'm missing my exterior elevation. Okay. Did everybody have a chance to save? I don't hear a lot of clicks anymore. You guys good? Great. So let's say that when we designed this house, that we know that we want the window to be 2 feet from this wall right here. I don't know why. We're the designer, we get to pick. So this is where people always get thrown off. If you are in real life, if you want to move something, you have to grab it and move it, right? We can't just grab a window and move it. I get it, but that's the concept. So in Revit, if I want to move the window, I click the window, and do you see how now my dimension is what's called activated? Okay, now I can click on it and do 2 feet, and it moves it 2 feet. I'm gonna undo that. Look at my screen real quick. What 90% of people try to do is they try to change the dimension, okay? Don't forget, in real life, to move something, you have to click on the object you want to move, and then enter, and then change it. Okay, I'm going to undo that. Go ahead and try it. So click on your window, 2 feet on this side. And if you're feeling brave, come down here, grab your window, 2 feet on that side. And then just to check that we have the right dimensions, 3, 6, 8, and 3, 6. Yeah? Okay. Good. So we've got equal. I'm going to jump ahead and I am going to say, for this one, let's try an equal on this one. So I'm going to start my dimensions here on the inside face. And then I click my dimension string and I'm just going to make them equal. That doesn't look equal to me, but I'll take it. I guess the dimension spacing is equal. We'll start with that, and then if we want, we can fudge it in just a minute. Okay. Try that, and I can come around and help. But let's get these equal too.
How did you keep going?
What was that?
How do you guys keep going from?
Oh, so hit escape. And at this point, I would just start it over. So hit escape one more time. And then click on that one and delete it. And let's just start over. And then go ahead and do your DI. Good. And now go to the outside of the wall. Yep. No, sorry. You got it. Perfect. Yep. And now just go to the center of your first window. Yeah. And then go down to your next window. Yep. And then your next window. And then your wall. Perfect. And then for your next one, yeah, just click anywhere and it'll place it. Good. And now hit escape a couple times. And now grab your dimension string. Yep. And do you see where it says equal? And it's crossed out? Yep. Click on that for me. Now I'm going to be super mean. Hit delete. And then hit Control Z. Oh, sorry. In the lower right, click OK. Now hit Control Z. Just do, oh wait, Control Z one more time. And Control Z. Awesome. Do it one more time.
Yeah, and you do the middle of the window, right?
It's doing the same thing.
Wait, mine's doing that too.
Now
Well,
it's
Well,
literally
I'm
magic.
Turn out
I'm
some
magic. I feel like
Me
I
neither.
did everything because it looked all wrong in the
Yeah.
drawing. Okay, I undid everything and then, cause it looked wrong, and now I'm back here and
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
confused.
So what you want to do, so look at my example. So
Okay.
start from the inside of the interior side. So hit escape for me.
Okay,
Okay, and now start there.
okay,
So click. And
okay,
now you're starting your dimension. So where do you want that first dimension to go?
to the middle of the window,
But look
Or-
at my example. Where?
to the edge of the window right
Yeah.
here.
So you actually have to go and click on the edge of the window. So
So right here.
yeah, but see how your dimension went away?
Yeah.
There you go. So now go ahead and click anywhere just to place
Okay.
that one. Good. Now do it again on the bottom window. So think about if you were in real life. So you
Okay.
actually, so you're Vanna White right now. You know how Vanna has to like touch the thing. So
You have to touch
you have
the
to
thing.
highlight
you
it.
can't
Yep.
just- Okay.
You can't just hover over it.
So like that's good.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
And
wait,
then
where'd it go?
so click on the wall one more time, and now click off of the wall. There you go.
Oh, okay.
So hit escape for me. So when I really say click on the middle of nowhere, I really mean middle of nowhere.
Okay.
Now escape one more time. And do you remember how to move your windows? Think you're Vanna White. So
Oh yeah,
hats, like,
just select
move around.
them.
Yep, select. And then that'll take you a long time. Be more precise with it. So zoom in for me. And see how your dimension is kind of highlighted where it says 10 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Click into the 10 inches. And
Okay.
now just type in 2, enter. Now it's move to B.
Perfect.
Even
Thank
easier,
you.
right?
Okay.
So do the other one too. And then Ashley, right?
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
So I did these dimensions, but
Okay. Let's do the 2 feet too.
yeah, so I click on the outside
No, so inside face. So just like mine.
and then right here.
Yeah. And now basically where we want to take it. Okay. And now hit escape just to get out of dimension. You might have to hit it a couple times. And now remember you have to click on what you want to move. So what do you want to move? And now see how your dimension highlighted? So not that one, that's not the one we're using. Get that one. And then what's my new dimension? 2, enter. And what, and go ahead and do the move constraint, because since you've made equal, it's like, wait, move this, do I not move it? Now go ahead and hit escape for me. Okay, and now click on the other window, I'm gonna have you put in the 2 feet differently. So click on it, and then see where it's like 5'6" right now? That's the zoom in for me. Do you see it? Do you see the dimension you want?
No.
Okay, look at my screen. Where do we want that 2-foot dimension from? So zoom out a little bit for me. Okay. So we want to measure from here to here. Where's that dimension?
Oh, right.
There you go. You just made it. Good. So click into it, and now just type in 2, enter. Good. See how you don't have to like backspace or anything?
Right.
When you first click on it, it highlights everything, so anything you click will automatically replace it.
Okay.
Okay, and now hit escape just to deselect what you have selected. And now go ahead and make the other side equal for me. Okay. Did you get yours all right?
Yeah.
And you're
I'm
Elite?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just check that.
Okay, I'm trying to look this up because is there a way out there? Because I'm in 14 and a half, I guess. Now that I'm in here, is there a way to edit it back to change it to 15?
No, I would keep it. It's
Okay.
actually right. It's going to wall center.
Oh, okay.
So you're fine. If you went from interior face to interior face, it might be right.
Okay.
But I'll show you how to change it in one sec.
Cool.
Okay. This half, I'm gonna come help you guys in just a minute. Let me do the next part, and then we'll keep going. We have a lot of lulls in the lecture. Sorry, guys. Usually I pause, but again, not pausing today. So for the front side, I don't exactly know what I'm doing yet, but I'm gonna figure it out here in just a minute. So we're gonna go. Actually, we're going to set this in the center. Do you see what I'm doing? So I'm measuring between my door and my walls like this, and we just want it to be centered like that. So I'm not giving it a dimension, I just want Revit to center these for me. Got it? So I'm going to really zoom in so you guys can see where I took my dimensions. That's important to see exactly where these are being taken from. And then after you get your dimensions, click on your dimension string and make sure it says equal. So dimensioning is a whole new ball game, right? Really different? I'm glad you like it. Good. We like those. And just to give you guys an overview, a lot of Revit is going to be like this, where you just kind of eyeball something and then you come back later and then put the dimensions in. Completely different than drafting, where when you're putting down the line, you tell it this is 10 feet. You just kind of drag it to about 10 feet. So just think about sketching. You know, when you're sketching, you're just kind of throwing stuff down and then you come back and massage everything later. That's kind of what we're doing here. So now let me check in. How did centering these windows go? So far so good? Yeah? Okay. One thing I would like to do here, I just deleted this string and I put unconstrained. I actually would like to put 1 foot between these windows. So if I wanted to keep this one in the center, which window would I select to activate my dimension? The one on the bottom, right? So this one will stay in its place, but then this one I'm going to move 1 foot away. Same thing here. Depending on which one you select, that'll be the one it moves. So let's adjust these a little bit too. So let's finish that up.
So when that warning comes up,
Mm-hmm.
when you try to get rid of the EQ,
Yep.
you hit the unconstrained.
Yep, unconstrained. It's saying, wait, you wanted me to make
Right.
this equal. You're just saying, it's okay.
Yep.
Let it go. While you guys are working on that, I am going to just take a peek at your assignment because I might have to move something around. So sorry, I have to, well, let me see if I can do it on my iPad. This is kind of awkward.
I apologize.
Yeah.
Remove both windows 1 foot from the center window.
Yes.
Thank
Mm-hmm.
you. Oh, thank
Yep, you got it. Okay, we'll start there. We're good. Oh, you're fine. Let's do it. Let me do it like this. I'm going to start it here. Are you doing, maybe I can get my mouse back. There it is. Okay. Are you doing this bottom part right here? Or these? Those? Okay. So I am going to undo to where they're equal, right? Is this kind of where you were?
Yeah, I already have them measuring.
Perfect. So I'm going to delete that part unconstrained. So I'm going to do DI, and I'm going to start from here to here. So I've got 9 inches there and 9 inches here. Are we at the same spot? Okay, great. So I'm going to use the example I did to Olivia, right? So we're Vanna White, and so to move something, you have to click on it first. And I want to move this window, and I want this window to be how far from this window here? Do you remember the distance? A foot. So I click on where it says 9 inches, and I'm going to tell Revit, move this 1 foot away, and it should be a foot away. Lindy, did yours not move?
When I click on mine, it does something else though.
That's what
Okay.
mine's doing. I think I click
So-
on it and I didn't hit the little box like I was expecting, so I click on it again and then it gives me a different dimension.
Okay, so let's do this one more time. So when I click on mine, I get all of these dimensions too. Are you guys getting another dimension other than this one?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say if you can, try to just zoom in and make sure you click on the 9 inches. And then let me come see what your screen is doing to see where you might be clicking into.
So I click on the window, dimensions.
Okay, but the 9 inches is still up,
Okay,
so
so not
9
the
inches is
dimensions
still
anymore,
working. So
right?
go ahead
Then
and
click
click
on
your
the window.
inches. And then,
Wait, I didn't click on the window yet, should I?
okay,
Yeah.
let's
So
do
you
one more
change it
time.
again.
Click
Now
on
you
the
need to
window.
click on the
So hit
window
cancel.
to move that, and then the
Click on the
dimension.
window one more
And
time.
now, oh, and then
Okay,
yes.
and then zoom in, and then
And then
really click
one
on that
enter.
number. Oh, here. Let me see. Is it locked? And then I'm gonna open it one more time.
And that. And that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what we're gonna do. Lindy, I think
I
maybe
got
the
it.
same thing is happening, but still, whether it's not. So we could, I mean, you and I could spend lots of time clicking, unclicking. If it doesn't work, I think I'm not gonna do it this semester, but I do play the Frozen soundtrack in here. I play the song Let It Go. It might be easier to just erase it, redraw the dimension, and then put in the 1 foot again. So Revit is really good, but it's not that good, and there's just some times where I don't know what it's referencing or what it's doing. So let's see if we start it again, if it'll be nice. Yeah, sometimes it's just easier to kind of start it again. Uh-huh. Yeah, great. And then go ahead and click on your window. And then try to move that 9 inches. And if that doesn't work, I know what happened. And you'll actually, you might have to put in your window again, or we're gonna scooch it out of the way. So click on the 9 inches. Okay, when, I think what happened, when you moved your windows, I think you kept the constraints. So now it's basically saying you wanted to keep your windows here, I'm not gonna move them. See how it's mad? Constraints are not satisfied. I'm gonna put remove constraints. Okay, and then down here I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna move it. It's okay. Since we moved it, since we already removed it, it's not mad at us. But now I guarantee you that it will work. So click on that first window. And now just change it to your 9 inches. And it should, oh sorry, the 1 foot. Yep. Perfect. Okay. So just to let you guys know, I'm gonna show you guys a scenario that just happened. I'm gonna go back a step just in case this happens to you. Whoops. You'll know what's going on. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make these equal. And so this is me going back in time. I said make them equal, and then I was like, no, they're too close together. We're gonna put them a foot apart. So I click on the constraints, or sorry, I click on the dimensions and I hit delete. And do you see how it's giving me a warning? Okay, instead of hitting unconstrain, I really grazed over this quickly. You should unconstrain it, which means that we've made it equal, but go ahead and break it, unconstrain it so they can be unequal now. But if you hit OK, what it's going to do, when you come here and say, hey, I want to put a foot here, do you see how essentially it's locked now? I keep trying to move my window and it's like, no. It's really trying to help you. You said you wanted to constrain it, so that's exactly what it's doing. It's constraining it. So to kind of cheat the system, I'm going to grab the window and I'm going to move it. Do you see how it gets mad at me again? This time I'm going to say remove constraints. So now, if I put in this dimension here, it actually lets me move it. Okay, so I just really grazed over that. I'm just so used to unconstraining it that I forgot what happens when you keep the constraints. So if that pops up, you'll know how to fix it now. So I'm going to move this one too. Okay. So we've got, this is what we've got so far. Is everybody with me? Yeah, we got? Awesome. So basically an hour into class, we've got like this cute little house, right? It feels pretty good. Let's build a little room in this house. It's not going to make any sense, but let's build a little room. So I'm going to hit wall, and we're just going to kind of eyeball it, but let's put it somewhere like this. I think this is like the best place to put it. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come back and put dimensions on here so we know where this wall is going. And just know that when I drew my wall, it remembered my constraints from last time. So when I did WA, it knew to go to the roof. Okay. Whoops. That is not a straight wall. Let's try that one more time. Okay, we'll just do something like this. And then once we have this wall in, let's say that we have to have at least 4 feet here. without me telling you what to do, pretend it's a window that you're trying to move, and give me exactly 4 feet in this little hallway right here. And then I'm gonna come walk you guys through it in just a few seconds.
Oh, that was close.
Nice. Excuse me. Good? All right, let me catch you guys up. If this was a window, what would we do first?
We would dimension,
Yeah, what's the shortcut for dimension?
DI.
Good, so we're gonna put a dimension here first. Okay, so I had 3 feet, that's pretty good, it's ADA code. Do I want 3 feet? I want 4. So we are in the project site. If I want to move this wall, what do I need to click on? Click on the wall you want to move. This is the wall that we're moving. So my dimension gets highlighted and I type in 4, enter. Now we've got 4 feet from here to here. Okay. Do you guys want me to do that one more time? Yes? No? I don't see any furrowed brow.
I just have a question, because
Okay.
I didn't do it that way. I didn't do my dimension first. I clicked on the wall and then changed the dimension down here.
Let me
That's
see.
not-
Okay. This one, it doesn't really help us. The only reason why, I wish it didn't do this, where is this dimension being taken from?
In the middle of the wall.
In the middle. So you can kind of make this work for you, but you have to click this once and then click that once. See how you can move these around?
Yeah.
I ain't got no time to tell you where to put your constraints. I'm just going to make my own constraints. So that's why, I mean, they are there, they are helpful, but then they're not. So, I mean, take your pick. Either one. Just make sure you're working with the right constraints. Because let me go back to that example. Oh, see, the constraints are gone. It's like Nama's a jerk. We're out of here. So, but 4 feet center to center isn't the same as 4 feet clear, right? So, especially when you're dealing with code, you know, they would revoke your permit. Okay, and now let's say that this one might be a little bit, can we do this? I am going to have you guys figure it out. Will you guys center this wall in the center of this room? Try it. If it doesn't work, there's always Control Z, and I'm going to show you how to do it in like 30 seconds anyway. But try it. See if you can center the wall in that room. And there's probably a couple ways of doing it, but I'm just thinking of one specific way.
Was I doing this wall? This wall?
Yes, please.
I think I did it.
Awesome. All right, let me come in. So I can grab my wall. Is it going to be that easy? No. Let me make these dimensions permanent. And then I'm going to click on the dimension and I'm going to make it equal. I don't know how you did it, but tell me how you guys did it.
Wait.
Sure. So I clicked on my wall and I'm like, just place these dimensions. And then I click on the dimension and I click on equal. But like I said, there's more ways of doing this, so let me kind of, I can probably grab the wall. Nope, it's not telling me, hey, this is equal. I could also just not be lazy and put in my own dimensions, but this time I do want the center line.
That's how I did it.
You did? Okay, perfect, that works too. And then here, equal.
Okay. So I highlighted my little wall, and then my dimensions came up over on the side.
Uh-huh.
But I don't see an equal sign.
Well, that's, I know, because these quick dimensions don't always help. So remember, let me Control Z a little bit. And then, Lindy, before I answer your question, Ashley, what was your question?
Same one.
Same one? Okay, so that's why these quick dimensions, I mean, I'm like winning the lottery today. Like every quick dimension I want is popping up, but this is not how it happens. So if yours aren't popping up, go ahead and draw them in, or if pretend this one's not here, you can still place it, and then I'm going like way too far ahead, guys.
Yeah.
Nope, I can't even get rid of this one. I was going to show you how to add another one. Okay, let it go. Yep. Yep. So just if the quick dimension doesn't work for you, let it go. Put in your own dimension. I clicked on the wrong thing.
I didn't realize I had to place the quick dimensions before I.
Yeah, you'd have to place it first, and I'm even going to see.
So now
Okay, it even let me do the equal that time. Most of the time there's so much stuff on my screen I can't necessarily click on the right thing, but that time it worked. Okay. What is really awkward about our house right now? About our tiny house?
There's no door into that room.
Yeah, it's basically like the naughty dungeon. Throw in 2 more doors for me. Put in a back door and put in a door to this room. You can put it in wherever you want. Okay. And then once you put in those doors, do you guys need a 5-minute break before we wrap up? Yes? Okay. So put in those doors. As soon as your doors are done, you guys can go ahead and leave. Just come back in 5 minutes, and then we'll finish this one up. And I'm going to see if I can, in fact, pause the lecture for the break. Are ready to go. Ready or not, here we go. So we've gotten pretty far on this project. Now the only other thing that I still need to add here is my doors. So I don't know where you put yours. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to throw mine in too, just to kind of complete it. You can put it on any wall, so don't worry about where I put them. We're going to do a couple more things, and part of it will just have to do with maybe some owner feedback and getting some more information on the project. So the first thing will be that the owner came to us and said, you know, we wanted to do 10 feet, but we're like hitting a tree line, or the city doesn't allow an accessory structure to be that high. So let's actually only make the ceilings 9 feet. Okay? So if you can, try to take care of that for me. So again, I went to my elevation view, I found my roof, and I like to zoom in just so that I know I'm clicking into the right box. So clicking on it once kind of activates it, and then clicking on it again allows you to make that change to 9 feet. And you should be able to see if you've done it right if all of the walls come down. So far so good? Yeah? Good. Now, the other thing that we're going to do is we are going to change our wall type. So go ahead and, without me telling you, grab all of your exterior walls. So you can kind of hear me doing it. Okay, what am I doing? Sing it for me. Hover, tab, click. Good. And if you drew them all at once, then they're all going to be selected. If you didn't, you might have to hold the control key, and the little plus sign will pop up, and you can click on them individually. Again, without knowing exactly how you drew your model, your hover, tab, click might get you 3 walls, and then again hit control and click to grab the others. Now this shouldn't be happening yet, but let's say you accidentally get more. You can also hold shift to deselect. So if you did take CAD, you should know those commands already. Okay, so I've got my exterior walls, and then coming here, just play. I don't care what you select, just go to the properties menu, grab these different walls. And the thing that's excellent is, okay, I think it's excellent because I'm a big nerd. Let me do this. I'm gonna put in a dimension. Take a peek at my screen for just another minute. So see how I've got 15 by 15? Okay, I know it's hard to see with all the other dimensions, but because I did finish face interior, look at how much bigger the exterior wood on stud gets. But because I did finish face interior, it grows it to the outside because it knows that interior dimension is the one that we need to kind of respect and follow. So walls got chunkier, room size didn't change. exterior wood shingle. Again, the outside dimension changed, but see how the interior stays consistent? Again, if you did that incorrectly or forgot to do it at the beginning, you can still come to your properties and change your finished face to be interior in the properties. That's what Revit is really forgiving in that sense, right? There's these things we want to consider in the beginning. If there's something that we miss or it changes in the future, we can always come back. Fabi?
So, how do I put this question?
I don't
So
know.
would that pop-up show up to restrain it if you wanted to adjust it when you already have the dimensions? If you did an exterior, you know what I mean? Like, would
Yeah,
that pop up?
So it would keep, so let's say that if you did an exterior constraint 15 to 15, it knows that you can't build outside of that plot line. Like, let's say those are like your site restrictions. It would make the walls thicker to the inside. Yep. Basically the opposite of what we're doing. So play around, see what wall you like, okay, and then tell me what we're gonna put on our model. What do you guys think? What was that?
The roof.
Did I say roof? Wait, the
So
roof?
what are we gonna put on our model?
No, I'm sorry. What type of wall do we want on the model? Yeah, what type of wall do we want to apply to our model?
If I have it on finished face interior, but it is changing my interior walls.
So it'll change your interior walls. Let me zoom in. So Olivia, take a peek at this. See how I've got 15 feet here? So this is the basic wall, but when I change it to be brick, see how it changed the wall, but
Yeah.
the dimensions stayed the same?
It's changing my dimensions though on the
Okay,
inside.
so let's check this. Your walls are selected, right? Okay, change them back to generic, do a Control Z, whatever you need to do to get them back here. Now, in your location line, do you see where mine says location line? Pull it down. Does it say finish face interior? Let's come take a peek. I'm also thinking your walls might be flipped. So the inside is out and the outside is in, maybe? I don't know.
Because then if I go
Change
like
it
this.
to brick and see if the brick is on the outside. Yeah, see how this is on the inside? Okay, let me show you another kind of troubleshooting thing that might come up. So on a generic wall, there shouldn't be an inside or an outside. But this happens every semester. We find out something new and exciting. So let me show you what could happen. You might grab an exterior wall and your wood could be on, your brick could be on the inside. So what you would need to do, I don't know if it'll let you do all of them at once. It's not going to let me. You might just need to highlight each wall and flip it. Let me see. I'm going to hit Control on these two. No, you have to do it individually. So you would just have to go through and flip the face.
You wouldn't be able to do both the faces?
No, you have to do it individually. I'm not sure why it doesn't let you do more than one at a time. But so go through and flip each segment. And then Olivia, the other thing that you might have to do when you're done. So let's see. Alina, did you ask me earlier about changing the dimensions? So this will answer your question too. Let's say you put in your overall dimensions and you find out that you actually are at 14 and a half and not 15. So whatever boat you're in, now you can grab your wall and change it to 15. And we love Revit because it moves the wall, it moves the window, it moves the door. It just knows everything just goes along with it, right? You can't move one and not the other. So I'm going to give you guys a minute. Well, actually, we didn't decide yet. What wall do we want? What wall type?
I have
Shingles? Okay. Exterior wood shingle on wood stud. Okay, that's the one we'll go with. So I'm going to give you guys just a few minutes to apply the wood shingle and then make sure your interior finish dimensions are 15 by 15. Okay. So again, just like a window, grab the wall you want to move and then change the dimension. Don't just click on the dimension and try to change that. Click on what you want to move.
Do I just click save the project when it asks me to?
Yeah, or the shortcut is Control S. I neurotically hit Control S at many intervals.
I'm perplexed.
Yes, please.
So I changed my wood shingle up here, but it didn't come down here.
It looks like it did. So it's on the outside, but not the inside. Zoom in for me.
Shoot.
Yep, there you
I'm
go.
blind.
Just zoom in. Yep. I'm like, I can kind of see it from here. That's awesome. Now, I'm going to throw one other thing at you guys. Sorry. On the inside, change the basic generic 6-inch wall to an interior 4.5 partition. Okay. So now we've actually got proper wall types to our project.
So when I change it from what? The basic interior form.
Yep. So this kind of brings me back to our point up here. When you start a project, you just have to consider these things. You don't have to know them. When we started our project an hour and a half ago, we didn't know what walls we wanted. So we just did generic, but we set it up in a way that it's really easy for us to come back and change it. And sometimes you'll be working on a project where, Lindy, we might find out that these shingles are insanely expensive. We might have to come back and change it to siding or like stucco or something like that. But at any point you can come back and change them. Great. Is everybody with me so far? We've got exterior shingle, we've got an interior partition wall. Yes? I don't hear a lot of clicking, so I'm assuming you guys are with me. Yeah? Okay. So what we're going to do now, just to kind of finish off what we've done, we are going to be crazy and just draw a roof. Okay, so double click on roof plan for me. And it might look like a blank floor plan. And I'm going to do my close windows because I have a lot of stuff open. Okay. Everybody at roof? Yes? So one thing that we need to do, because I deleted our second floor, it looks blank, but we can easily get a reference in here. So this is kind of bonus content that we typically don't go over for a minute. But over here in our properties, I want you guys to keep scrolling down until you see something called Underlay. So my screen is going to look slightly different than yours just because I'm zoomed in so much. And the first thing should say range base level, and right now it says none. Okay, so underlay none. What do you think this should be? So an underlay is what do you want to see underneath? What do you think we want this to be? Yeah, so if you make your first floor the underlay, do you see that it's just basically a ghost image of your first floor, which makes our life a lot easier to draw a roof. Now we're just kind of like not drawing like nothing at this point. Okay, so again, in our roof plan, typically this will show the second floor, but because we deleted the second floor, it's not showing anything. So that's why we need to go to underlay and turn on the first floor. Let me make a quick note of that for your questions. If there's bonus content, I put that on. So I will probably ask you guys what is an underlay, and it's just like a reference of another floor, typically the floor below. So we can't click on this and move walls, it's just showing us what's underneath. Okay? Now that we have our our underlay, in our architecture menu, do you see where it says roof? Okay, and we're going to do the world's most generic roof. Everybody click on roof for me. Again, mine might look different because my screen is tiny. And see how our ribbon is interactive and it changed to modify create roof print mode? Okay, before we get too far, I just want you guys to click on this square or the rectangle because we just kind of want to drag and drop. Okay, so grab your rectangle And then let's also add, are you guys okay adding an overhang where it says offset? Let's add like a 1 foot overhang. Let's just make it small. It's good?
I don't know what happened.
That's okay. Click on roof.
I'm not with you. Okay, so I did, but then all of a sudden my architecture tab is just like grayed out and I can't do anything.
So up here, it should be really, it's like the crest minty color. Click on where it says modify, create roof. I wish it was a brighter color, but it's trying to direct you. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I just missed that.
Nope, you're fine. Your back is to it. I get it. So rectangle and offset 1 foot. Those are the only two things that we're changing. And now start on one corner and drag. Click on the other corner. So this is a preview of the footprint of your roof. And then once you're done, go ahead and hit this green check mark. Like, yep, I'm done. Thank you. And then you should have a little roof. Yes? So I'm going to orbit around. I don't know why mine is kind of floating. That's weird. Is yours too? It says it's at, I'm not going to worry about that today. That's fine. It says it's on the roof level, so I'm just going to go with it. But yeah, there's a little roof level. So within an hour and a half, we've got walls, we've got levels, we've got windows, we've got doors, and we have a little roof. Okay?
Can you go over again? I clicked on the little
Yeah.
rectangle.
Yep, let me come back. Let me edit this one. Okay, so with the rectangle, let me hit tab. What you want to do is before you start drawing, make sure your offset is 1 foot. Is that at 1 foot? Okay. And now what you want to do is starting in this corner, do you see how I've got that pink? So drag to the next one. Okay, and now hit this green check. Yep, finish edit mode. And then you should have your little roof. Great. So now what I would like to do, now that we've kind of got these, let's come all the way down to our sheets and let's look at the first floor plan and see how our first floor plan looks. It's a little crazy. Now, I am actually skipping a little bit ahead today. So this is typically something that we would do on Thursday, but because we have the time, I'm just going to use everything we can so that if we have to work like this again Thursday, you can't imagine how much projecting like this eats into our class time versus just having it here. So with that in mind, I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit. So now our crash course into BIM modeling is essentially done. Okay, this next part is bonus material. Let me spend about 5 minutes going over the questions that I'm going to give you guys Thursday. Usually I won't unlock the questions until after class. I use the questions as an outline of everything we need to cover. And then just like today, if there's bonus content, I add questions. So these won't be released until Thursday, but let me tell you what we have so far. Let's see if you guys can answer these. Do you guys know how to select multiple walls at once? What's our little cheer? Perfect, okay. When you open up a new Revit project, what should you consider?
What type of space it is?
Yeah.
Residential or
Perfect, yep, so that would be referred to as your template. Good. Template is one. What else? Yep, so the construction, what does the construction mean?
The wall.
The wall. And so if you don't know if it's a 2x4 or a CMU wall, is that okay? Yeah, like you could even just consider that, okay, we're going to start generic. Okay, let's stay with walls for a minute. So we talked about the construction. When we draw the walls, what do we also have to consider? I'm going to tell you. Yep, so the dimensions or the constraints, right? So where's the constraints? Are we going to be drawing the center line of the wall? Are we going to be doing finish face exterior or interior? Okay, so we've got the constraints. What's another thing about the wall? So remember, we're not just doing plan view. Yep, the levels. Good. So let me just recap. The wall type or construction type, the levels, okay? We're also thinking about the constraints, and that's the finished face exterior or interior. Even though we can draw center line, is that what we use in this class often? Typically not. Sometimes if we have like a big house and we want to draw 3 bedrooms or 3 offices of equal size, we'll draw them in the center and then we'll equal them out. But typically it's finished face interior. Sometimes it's finished face exterior. Good. And then you guys mentioned the template too, whether we want to do architectural or residential. Awesome. So the next question was, which templates do we use in this class? Architectural, residential. Which one isn't predefined in that new menu screen?
Residential.
Yep, you have to go looking for residential, okay? When you start dimensioning, what should your constraints be set to? So by default, when you start dimensioning, it goes to the center of your wall. So, yep, it's called finish face. Yeah, so that one's a little bit tricky because when we talk about drawing walls, it's specific to finish face interior. And that's a trick question because I probably have that as an answer. But in dimensioning, it's just called finish face. I write exactly what the menu writes. Unless it's a BMI, then whatever. Okay, good. We didn't talk about that. Okay, let me X this one out. We didn't get to that. What should your wall height be set to? Is it a number? And what is the roof? So tell me what is the term for the roof? It's called a level. Yes. So your wall heights should be set to levels. Not necessarily a numeric number, but it should be set to a level. So it always corresponds to that level. So when you change that level, the roof up or down, it moves with the roof. Got it? So let me ask you again. What should your wall height be set to? Your level. So that they correspond and move together. Got it? Good. We didn't really talk about this, but tell me your thoughts. Why should you work on a project? Wait. That makes no sense. Naima, why should you work on a project while working on it from multiple views at once? Huh? What I'm trying to say is when we work on a project, why do we want multiple views open?
We can make sure it's applying to all the levels.
Yeah.
So we can see how that change affects something else.
Absolutely. So despite it being cool, I mean, really that's the answer I'm looking for. It's awesome. We can, right? But you can see like immediately like, wait, I drew a roof level, but my walls are going unconnected up to 20 feet. Or like, for example, Olivia, if we started with something that wasn't a generic wall, you would have immediately been able to see that your bricks were on the interior and not the exterior, right? So it just, because we can, because it's cool, but it also lets you just quickly visually identify what you're building as well. Okay. When you guys are working on a door or even a window, what's a keyboard shortcut to quickly flip them around? Keyboard shortcut. Good. Spacebar. Spacebar just kind of flips things around. And again, on your screen, it's those double-sided arrows that are kind of opposite from one another. So you can use those to change the face of things or the hinge of things. I can't read my notes. What does this mean? Why don't we use QP? What's QP? I don't know.
Because we don't know what that would be.
I don't know what that means. Naima, why don't...
It's not a thing.
What is QB?
Is that an answer?
Oh, Naima, I don't even know. And it was bonus content. Dang it, I know. I don't know. Okay, I'll come back to that. Okay. When you are dimensioning, do you select the dimension or the object? The object, right? So I shouldn't say when you want to move something, do you select the dimension or the object? The object, good. Oh, okay, I knew what this is. It's QD. Why don't we use or rely on quick dimensions. There's like 10 things that came up. They're not reliable, and they're not to the face of the wall. Yep, they go to the center. So we can fix it by clicking on them, but really it's one of those things where it's probably faster just to draw your own and kind of move on with it. If you have 3 windows or 2 objects, 3 objects, and you want to quickly equal their dimensions, do you click on the objects or do you click on the dimension string? Dimension string. This is something I'm still learning. I still always want to click on the object because that's what I'm used to, but yes. Okay. Here's another bonus content that 2 more. Okay. How can you, without using the hover tab click, what's another way of selecting additional objects like walls? What keyboard shortcut can you use? Control. Okay. What about deselecting? What's the opposite? Good. And then what is an underlay and where would you find it?
In the properties bar.
Underlay is in your properties bar near the views. And why did we use it today? What does it do? Yeah, it references another level. So imagine we've drawn our first level and we go to draw our second. Yes, our exterior core walls should keep going up, so we're going to see those. But if you want to align a staircase or plumbing, it helps to see the level below so you can really stack those walls on top of each other. So an underlay is just a visual reference for a floor below or even above. It's not common to do above, but typically it's just a reference level for you to kind of sketch on top of. Okay, so those will be Thursday's questions, and then depending on what we do in class Thursday, I might add a few more. But these are, again, this is like my script. This is what I want to hit for the day, and then we might add more. Let's go ahead and finish this one up because this is not very good looking. So we're really changing gears right now. So just to let you guys know, if you want to come back to this part of the lecture, we are 1 hour and 42 minutes in when we switch to printing. Okay, 1 hour, 42 minutes in. So what we're looking at right now is basically the entire floor plan, which doesn't make sense. We've got this giant sheet and this little tiny plan. So what I'd like to do, I want to go back to our first floor and let's zoom out and tell me, actually, let's close our other views. So I'm going to do my window. So we're just seeing the first floor. And you may or may not, when you zoom out, do you guys see this rectangle? Okay. I'm going to show you guys where this lives, what it does, and kind of how you can toggle it on and off. Okay, I'm going to show you how to turn. You might have to zoom out more. If you're way out, it might not just be on, which is totally fine. So again, I'm in my first floor, so meet me here. This is where we can make most of the edits. So when we're in our first floor, I want you guys to scroll down to where it says extents. And so Lindy, yours should at least have crop view on, and then the second one, crop region visible.
Oh, they should be checked.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and check them. That way our screens will be the same. And then let me explain what those two things are. So again, if you're not in your first floor, don't be on your sheet view, be on your first floor view for me. I'm going to hang out here for just a minute to make sure everybody's with me. Okay, I'm going to go on. I'm going to come back and get you if I need to. But what this does is crop region visible is this box right here. So what you can do when this is on, you can click on this rectangle, so do this with me, and drag it into where your floor plan is. So you're not just getting a whole bunch of random stuff. Now, this little guy, this is your elevation marker. We'll talk about those later, but that's basically your cameras for your elevations. So let's get that nice and tight into our plan. And so that way, if you had random stuff out here, Control-Z. If you have random stuff out here or over here, you can kind of crop that out of the view. Now, if your project grows, you might even have to come back and adjust these too. Okay. So far, so good? Yeah? Now, typically, we don't want to see this when we print. We don't want this extra box. So after you've set your crop region, go ahead and turn that off, but keep crop view on. Because when crop view is on, it means that it'll respect that box that you just kind of toggled around your work, and it'll crop it.
Mine turned pink.
That's okay. Double click off of it. And see up there where there's like that green check up at the top? I don't know what's going on, but I like green checks. There we go. Okay. Cool. Okay. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go back to our sheet. And it's going to look a little bit better, but not quite. And you guys are going to realize how impatient I am with Revit. Okay. See how it looks slightly better? We don't have this extra black box out here. But see how this is just insane? Like my plan is here, this is down here. Let me focus real quick. So this plan is at 1/4 inch, which is fine, but we've got a lot of real estate on this sheet. So if you want to change the scale of a view, you click on it, and up here at the top, do you see where it says view scale 1/4 inch? Why don't you change that to 1/2 inch for me? So 2 above where we are is 1/2 inch. And it moved mine and it made it bigger. Okay. Oh, sorry, let me back up a little bit then. So first floor is here, but your A1 is under your sheets. Yep, so come to your sheet and find your A1. And actually, let me pause for just a minute. I want to make sure you guys have time to put your extents around your viewport. So go ahead and take a minute to do that. So Nicole and even Carmen, I can see you guys so I can call you out. I'm going to give you a sec to come back to your first floor, and let's make sure our crop region looks like this. So click on that box to activate it, and then use these toggle points to pull it in nice and close. So bring it all the way in for me.
Mine's just highlighting, it's just turning my house blue, and it's not drawing a box around.
Okay, so let's hit escape real quick. Just see where you are. Now click on it again.
And when you say it, I don't even have a box around.
Oh, you do.
Okay, that box.
That box. There you go. And now, do you see these like little blue dots, these toggle points?
Okay.
Click and drag those in. Good. Excellent. Okay. So Carmen, now that you've got yours, go ahead and unclick crop region visible for me. Let's turn that off. And then meet me on sheets A1. And then Nicole, as soon as you get yours, do that same thing for me. I think yours looks good. So turn off your crop region visible to turn off the outline. Good. And then A1 first floor plan is where I'll meet ya. Okay. So what I did, I'm gonna hit Control Z. Well, let me just click on it again. Click on your view, and then the first line under graphics is essentially 1/2 inch equals 1 foot in mine. Yours might be 1/4. So go ahead and change it to 1/2. It's a pretty large floor plan, but we've got the real estate. And then Carmen, with yours, do you see where it says sheets? It's the second one down, your A1.
Yeah, and I already clicked on it, and it doesn't do anything.
Double click on it for me. There you go. Okay. Where am I? I'm here. So I'm going to show you guys how to move the view, and then we're going to move it together, and then we're just going to delete it and put it back on. So is everybody's view crazy? Yeah? Okay. So first, just click on your view, 4-sided arrow, and move it to the bottom right. You could center it if you want, that's fine. Bottom right or center.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Don't be
When
sorry.
I click on my view, it doesn't, I don't have a box around it anymore.
So you won't, but look at mine. See how I don't have a box? When I
Right.
click on the view, it just lets me know.
Clicks on like individual little parts of my plan.
Okay, are you an A1 first floor plan? Okay, what I want you to do is take your mouse and double click out. So if you have double clicked in,
Right,
you are in like your model space again.
okay.
So see how mine is all grayed out?
Out on the papers?
Yep, so anywhere outside of your floor plan.
Oh,
Okay,
amazing.
cool.
Thank you.
You guys are giving me so much credit today. We haven't really done anything yet. You just wait. Okay, so now I would say that my view is in a good place, my view title is not. Ashley?
For my view scale, 1/2 scale isn't an option for me.
Oh, so it should be. Go ahead and click on your view first. Okay. And then do you see where it says view scale?
Yeah.
What does yours say right now?
1 equals 1 inch.
Okay, so come down 2 from there.
I swear that wasn't there.
I'm magic. I'm magic. That's it. I'm magic. Okay, now when we've placed that, if you click your view, it moves your view and your view title. You with me? To move just your view title, just click on your view title. I think this is so tedious, but whatever. Okay? So your view moves your view title and your view. Your view title just moves your view title. Okay?
Can you double click on your view title?
I'm just clicking on it. Just click and move. But what's still wrong with it? My OCD is clicking in. See how it's super long? To change the length of the view title, you have to click the view. Weird, right? So to move the view title, you just click on the view title. But to change the length of it, you have to click on the actual view. Do you guys see the difference between the two? So this is your view title, and this is your actual view. And depending on what you're clicked on, it does different things. So what I would like you guys to do is to click on your view, and then move it down to the bottom right-ish, and then click on your view title, get that into position, and then click back on your view and make this nice. And that's where we're going to end today. 9 whole minutes. What's up?
I can't move my menu title on its own.
But you can. So click off of your view, and now just click on your view title.
Oh.
There you go. Okay. That's it. So I will be pretty OCD about how you guys turn stuff in. And it's just because these drawings represent you, and I want them to look professional, like right off of the bat. So in school, in these classes from the first assignments, the first time I probably won't mark you down, I will just make comments. But I realize that most people don't read the comments until they get marked down. So just watch out for that. But I either want things to be centered or in the lower right. I want the view title corresponding with the view. I don't want crop view ons. So on Thursday, when we start our tiny house, we'll do something similar to this, and we'll do another practice print. And Carol, if you could remind me, or if somebody could remind me, to show you guys how you can go into Canvas and read my comments on your assignments. I don't think a lot of people realize that I actually go through. If you don't get full credit on something, I'm going to give you a comment why. I want you guys to be able to look through the plans. And in fact, Carol, I might go back and just comment a whole bunch of jargon just so I can use it as an example on Thursday. Okay, that's it for today. So please save this, put it in your scrapbook as your first Revit project. You don't need to turn this one in. This is really just for practice. We're going to be doing a new floor plan on Thursday. So if you want, I can unlock the assignment if you guys just want to go like peek at the floor plan, or I can at least put it up. But between now and Thursday, if there was anything that wasn't clear, please go through and just kind of try this whole thing again, because this is our whole semester over and over again. Okay? Any questions before I sign out of our lecture? No? Great job today, by the way. I hope you guys had fun. We're just getting started, so. All right.